Welcome to a special edition of Caribbean Newsline for Friday, December 29. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts with the final newscast for 2017. From devastating hurricanes to industrial unrest, political changes, historic sports accomplishments, and everything in between, this was an eventful year in the region. When we come back after the break, we take a look back at the stories that made headlines over the past 12 months.
Come, sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel. Realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Welcome back. Tonight, we take a look at the stories that made headlines over the past 12 months.
Trinidad and Tobago is strongly refuting a report on American television network MSNBC that terrorist group ISIS has members in the Twin Island Republic.
Al Jazeera has aired a documentary identifying Trinidad and Tobago as the nation with the highest recruitment rates of ISIS fighters in the Western Hemisphere.
According to government estimates, 130 Trinidadians, including women and children, have since joined Crawford and Mustafa in the Middle East, and some experts think up to 400 people may have gone.
It's clear that the reporter came armed with a story already written and just simply backfilled with imagery alleging things which are so far off.
And the Bahamas government is also on the defensive regarding the allegations made in the report on MSNBC.
This is an alarming allegation to make. We have no idea where he gets his information from. We're asking for MSNBC to issue a retraction or a clarification of the remark.
What has been described as one of the most high-profile criminal cases in Cayman Islands history, the former president of University College there has been found guilty of stealing nearly $500,000 during his tenure and lying about having a doctorate to get the job.
A United States-based St. Vincent and the Grenadines national, Paul Scrub, has been freed of charges that he made threats to murder Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves.
There is an ongoing police investigation into a possible assassination plot against President David Granger. Minister of State Joseph Harmon confirmed the investigation during Thursday's post-cabinet briefing.
Guyana's former Attorney General Anil Nandlal has been charged with larceny for the alleged theft of over $2 million Guyana dollars worth of law books from the Ministry of Legal Affairs.
When I took this job, I took it at a loss of income, that I was earning much more. And part of the package which I negotiated was the payment of my subscription for the law books. The state cannot produce any document that they ever purchased law books.
A former Trinidad and Tobago Attorney General detained by police on allegations of witness tampering.
According to reports, at around 6 a.m. today, officers came to Mr. Ramlogan's Palmies Park home in San Fernando to execute a search warrant. Following the search, Ramlogan was taken into police custody and carried to the police administration building.
Exorbitant phone bills by some Jamaican government ministers have forced the Andrew Holness administration to implement an interim cap on cell phone charges.
A cap of $40,000 per month on all mobile telephone communications, expenses directly related to each minister of government.
Bahamas' Prime Minister Perry Christie is expecting a report into the chaos on Wednesday at the Kendall Isaacs National Gymnasium as Bahamians began casting ballots in the advanced poll ahead of the May 10th general election. Technical problems force extended voting hours in the Bahamas elections. Bahamas gets a new Prime Minister after a landslide victory by the Free National Movement.
There are serious challenges that lay ahead. But we are confident that with God's help and with the hard work, we shall overcome.
Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has told the nation of a plan the country's opposition parties had for protesters to storm his office and seize the seat of power during an anti-government demonstration on Tuesday night.
Supporters of the UWP gathered outside the Financial Center complex on Tuesday, demanding that Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit and members of his cabinet step down.
The police had information that the intent of the leadership was to stall the truck in front of the Financial Center and storm the barriers with the intent of entering the building.
But the UWP leader has distanced his party from the violence.
Both events are unrelated, and we condemn these baseless criticisms as forcefully as we condemn the lawlessness visited on the capital city on Tuesday night.
And Haiti officially now has an elected president a year after the last one left office. Jovenel Moïse was sworn in as the 58th president of the French-speaking Caribbean nation on Tuesday morning. He took the oath of office in a parliament chamber packed with Haitian lawmakers and foreign dignitaries from countries including the U.S., Venezuela, and France.
Haiti has a new prime minister. President Jovenel Moïse has appointed Dr. Jacques Guy Lafontaine to fill the post.
The opposition United Progressive Party in Antigua and Barbuda has announced the expulsion of embattled MP Joan Messiah. Messiah had been sidelined by the party for about a year following her allegations of unfair treatment and conflict of interest when she was attempting to run for the leadership of the party in 2015. The Democratic National Alliance is the new kid on the political bloc in Antigua and Barbuda.
It will be led by the Honorable Joan Messiah, who earned strong support in some quarters during her public spat with the United Progressive Party.
Barbados, where the main opposition Barbados Labour Party on Saturday increased pressure on Prime Minister Fernando Stewart to call an early election. An estimated 10,000 people participated in what was dubbed the March of Disgust. Led by opposition leader Mia Bartley and other members of the BLP, the message to the government was, enough is enough. Barbados is facing the possibility of a nationwide shutdown led by the island's leading trade unions, gave Prime Minister Fernando Stewart 48 hours to respond positively to their demands for a reprieve from the austerity measures announced in the May 30 budget. Workers at the state-owned Transport Board were off the road on Thursday following on the heels of industrial action by employees at the Bridgetown port on Wednesday. Barbadians come out in their thousands to pressure government to roll back tax increases.
This is not an attempt to take over any government. Instead, it is an attempt to help them
And Lord knows that they have clearly demonstrated that they need the help.
Meantime, Prime Minister Fundell Stuart made it clear ahead of Monday's protest that the march would not force his government to reverse the NSRL hike.
No country in the world, no president, no prime minister, no sheikh, nobody who's running a government can run it by undisguised blackmail.
Protests continue in French Guiana as residents demand better treatment from France. More than 10,000 people, most of them clad in black, converged in the capital Cayenne on Tuesday as a nationwide strike entered a second day. Hundreds of demonstrators blocked roads, forced the closure of schools, and shut down businesses.
And over in Venezuela, a nationwide strike against plans to rewrite the constitution shut down much of the capital on Thursday. Millions joined the 24-hour shutdown, staying at home, closing businesses, or manning roadblocks in a civil disobedience campaign that the opposition hopes will end nearly 2 decades of socialist rule. Liat pilots give the airline an ultimatum over salaries.
Liat and its pilots could face off in court over ongoing industrial action.
The recent 3-day strike by pilots of regional airline Liat has cost the company millions of dollars, about 7 million EC dollars in losses.
The first storm since the June 1st official start of the Atlantic hurricane season has formed. Tropical storm Brett is inching closer towards Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada, forcing the authorities to announce measures to deal with the landfall later on Monday night or early Tuesday.
Trinidad and Tobago was mopping up and assessing damage on Tuesday after being spared the brunt of Tropical Storm Brett, which made its way through the Twin Island Republic overnight.
Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines were in cleanup mode on Friday after Tropical Storm Harvey lashed the islands with heavy rains that caused flooding and gusty winds that blew off roofs and downed electricity poles and trees.
We've been trying to look at the potential impact of what is a catastrophic event at the moment.
Right now we can expect very dangerous conditions. We have, as you said earlier, we haven't had such a powerful storm in the region since 2005 with Wilma.
In my time in the business, I've not seen a category 5++ or a high category 4 potentially impacting 6 states. So this is new ground.
Aftermath Hurricane Irma.
What the hell, yo? I can't take it. I can't take it. This is not good. Everything gone down there.
At least one death reported as Hurricane Irma continues a trail of destruction in the northern Caribbean.
The death toll from Hurricane Irma, which has maintained Category 5 strength for 3 days,
rose again Thursday as the monster system barreled through the Caribbean.
Just hours after Prime Minister Gaston Brown was reporting that Antigua and Barbuda was spared the worst, he has confirmed that a 2-year-old child died in Barbuda during the hurricane.
The latest 3 fatalities were recorded as Irma battered Puerto Rico on Thursday afternoon. Earlier, 8 others were reported killed in French St. Martin, as well as 1 person in Anguilla.
Terrible. Nothing like this we ever experienced. All the hurricanes I went through all my years, nothing never like this.
I'm trying to see if we get some water washing the clothes today. Very stressing. Stress yourself out.
We weren't expecting this much damage, but we just need help.
We are here to show our support. We are clearly asking the entire regional and international community to come forward and help.
You know, thank God we were spared the effects of Tropical Storm Irma.
Hurricane Maria quickly reaches Category 4 intensity and is headed for Dominica. Hurricane Maria on Monday night delivered a devastating blow to Dominica, the full extent of which is still not known as communication systems across the island are down.
The wind was savage. We lost the roof.
Skerritt wrote, and I quote, "I am honestly not preoccupied with physical damage at this time because it is devastating indeed, mind-boggling. My focus now is in rescuing the trapped and securing medical assistance for the injured. We will need help, my friend. We will need help of all kinds." But it was when the Dominican leader began speaking about the immediate needs of his people that he could not hold back the tears.
We need a lot of tarpaulins and supplies.
It's a difficult, it's really an extraordinarily difficult moment for Prime Minister Skerritt, who, as he said, has given us the opportunity to share his story with the world.
The official death toll in Dominica from Hurricane Maria has now reached 27.
I decided to follow many Dominicans and walk from the capital to areas not accessible to vehicular traffic following the devastation caused by Hurricane Maria on Monday night. When I lived in Dominica, it normally would have taken me at least 15 minutes to reach my home in Lubia. On Friday, I decided to join hundreds of Dominicans, as well as strangers who had no choice but to walk in order to reassure themselves that family members were all right and their houses were intact.
National and international organizations are pledging their financial support to Dominica.
I had originally no intention of going to the United Nations, but I have decided to go, so I'll be traveling to New York tomorrow to address the United Nations General Assembly, to speak to the international community, to have meetings with the UN Secretary General, to outline Dominica's situation and how we believe the international community could assist us.
And some sad news out of Haiti. Former President René Preval died on Friday. He was 74. Preval died at home in La Boule, a neighborhood in the capital. His wife confirmed his passing and was quoted as saying she refused to believe he was dead.
St. Lucian Nobel laureate Sir Derek Walcott went to his final resting place amid unwavering praise and admiration of his talent, influence and work as mourners bade farewell during a state funeral service at the Minor Basilica Cathedral in Castries, St. Lucia on Saturday.
President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Captain Horace Burrell, has died. He passed away yesterday in the United States after ailing for some time. Burrell was instrumental in leading the Reggae Boys to the 1998 World Cup in France. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Burrell's passing is a loss to many communities in Jamaica. The death toll from the explosion at a quarry in St. Lucia's capital yesterday has now risen to 4. Some of those left with serious injuries were today flown to neighboring Martinique for medical treatment. Doctors from Martinique are also at the Victoria Hospital in St. Lucia to assist. The explosion occurred at Farrand Quarry operated by Renu Construction in cul-de-sac Castries as workers were welding a container which had dynamite.
5 people were killed when a car plunged over a precipice and into the sea in the north of Dominica on Sunday. Police report that the incident took place along the road between the villages of Penville and Villacase. 5 people remain hospitalized on Tuesday following a mass shooting incident at the close of Grand Cabdumont in Barbados on Monday. 1 person was killed and 20 others injured during what was the climax of the annual Cropover Festival. Prison officials have confirmed that 6 officers were taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital with injuries, and one of them, Odinga Wickham, succumbed to gunshot wounds. 2 of the others are in critical condition and the other 3 are stable. The Camp Street prison in the country's capital was practically destroyed after inmates set fire to several buildings at the prison after 4 p.m., similar to what occurred at the prison in March last year when 17 inmates died.
The fire at a major landfill has been contained. The blaze at a public landfill in the capital Nassau began on Sunday and forced the evacuation of the community of Jubilee Gardens.
Another leak from a tank at Trinidad's oil company has resulted in a significant amount of oil spilling into the sea. Petrotrin has estimated that about 20 barrels of oil had leaked out.
Where thick oil was not seen, a sheen blanketed miles of water. And for what we could see above the water, it was a tragic scene to see affected animals flutter to safety.
We've already seen more than a dozen pelicans drenched in oil seeking refuge within the mangrove, some of them unable to.
Sprint legend Usain Bolt admits he may have put himself under too much pressure when he competed in his final individual event at the IAAF World Championships in London over the weekend. In what was a big shocker for Jamaicans and fans worldwide on Saturday, Bolt had to settle for his first ever bronze in the 100 meters, crossing the finish line in 9.95 seconds.
A bit disappointed, but it is what it is. I came out here and did my best as always. I tried my best, so what can I say? I think I put a little bit of pressure on myself because I knew if I didn't get my start and get into the race early, I'll be in trouble. And I think I might have played that through my head a little bit too much. And when I got out, I was like, oh, I have to work. And I just tried my best to get back in the race as quickly as possible, but at the end, it wasn't enough.
And despite not going out in a blaze of glory, Bolt said it was hard to be sad given the energy the crowd had given him. And he says his legacy remains intact.
Proven to the world that I'm one of the greatest athletes, and I don't think tonight has changed anything. You know what I mean? I've always done my best, and I've always tried to uplift the sport in my best ways.
Belgian-born head coach of the Soca Warriors, Tom Saintry, has resigned. CMC Sports understands that the coach, who was appointed just last month, handed in his resignation on Wednesday, and it was accepted by the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association. The development comes days after TNT suffered back-to-back losses against Suriname and Haiti, which virtually put the side out of the contention for a CONCACAF Gold Cup spot.
From the moment of the presentation, things went already wrong. I think that the players and outside world didn't take or respected me like I deserve to be respected, only with the words who were used at the presentation. There's no coach in the world who get presented to the media as new coach and get already fired in the same day.
Officials in Jamaica believe that veteran sprinter Nestor Carter may get off easy from a case that was filed against him after testing positive for using a banned substance during the 2008 Beijing Olympics.
Having looked at the report of the IOC disciplinary tribunal, and some of the things that they did, it became obvious that really some missteps were probably made, and the lawyers, I think, in my opinion, have a very good case for this for the case to be dismissed at CAS.
Embattled Jamaican athlete Nesta Carter has been cleared by the IAAF to compete at a local meet set to run this weekend in Jamaica.
Following weeks of speculation, Jamaican sprinter Nesta Carter has officially filed an appeal after testing positive for a banned substance stemming from the 2008 Beijing Games. Carter's lawyer Stuart Simpson confirmed that the appeal was submitted and he is awaiting a date to go before the Court of Arbitration for Sports.
Baseless, that's how Jamaican athlete Khalees Spencer is describing a charge by the Jamaican Anti-Doping Commission that she violated the rules by not submitting a sample. The Commonwealth Games gold medalist in hurdles, along with world champ bronze medalist Riker Hilton, are facing sanctions for the alleged violation.
Fresh allegations of Jamaica's athletes using banned substances have officials crying foul. This time, a German media house has reported that Jamaican athletes used banned substances during the 2008 Beijing Olympics.
The allegations from the ARD research team says that Jamaica arranged for food from home to be shipped directly to the pre-Olympic camp in China, so the possibility of Jamaicans having clenbuterol through contaminated meat was low. So the report is having none of it.
T20 star Andre Russell was Tuesday ruled out of several major upcoming global tournaments after being slapped with a 12-month ban for an anti-doping whereabouts violation. In particular, he will miss the cash-rich India Premier League, where he is contracted to Kolkata Knight Riders and for whom he is a key player. The 28-year-old globe-trotting all-rounder missed 3 drugs tests back in 2015 after failing to report his whereabouts and was penalized by the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission. He had faced up to a 2-year ban if found guilty of the violation, but with now sitting out of the game until next January under the 12-month sanction, which takes immediate effect.
West Indies Cricket Board President Dave Cameron is set to be returned to the position unopposed. The WICB announced Thursday that Cameron and his Vice President Emmanuel Nansen were the only candidates put forward for the respective posts by the deadline.
As he continues another term at the helm of Cricket West Indies, Dave Cameron says he has the full support of the territorial cricket boards. The embattled president was re-elected unopposed earlier this month amid strained relations with several players. Speaking in a recent interview while in Trinidad and Tobago, the Jamaican said despite the challenges, the board has been given a passing grade.
For a long, very, very long time, we've had bad performances. So the noise will continue until we get back to the top. And even when we're at the top, we're always going to have challenges because Jamaica wants all of its players playing, Trinidad wants all of its players playing, and Barbados, and so on and so forth. So we understand that. But again, you know, the 6 territories, the 6 shareholders have been saying to us that we're on the right path.
Our West Indies practice game against the Trinidad and Tobago 11 scheduled for next Tuesday has been called off because of the involvement of exiled left-hander Darren Bravo. Cricket West Indies President Dave Cameron says Bravo cannot play cricket unless he removes the controversial tweet which led to him being sidelined for regional duty.
Every day that tweet stays up is an infraction. Secondly, he needs to accept that he's done something wrong, and then we can move forward from there.
After 10 years without a ball being bowled at the Brian Lara Stadium in Tarouba, since its construction, the TNT government will open the facility in May.
And we believe that this ground is in fact the best ground for cricket in the Caribbean. And the CPL representatives that have toured the facility have told us that it is by far the best ground in the Caribbean.
$1 billion stadium, 12 years in the making. The Brian Lara Stadium in Tarouba was started in 2005 in the hope it would be ready for the 2007 Cricket World Cup. It finished 10 years late. In 2016, the PNM government committed $90 million to fill in missing pieces, replace what was stolen by vandals, and rehabilitate years of decay.
And that's Caribbean Newsline for 2017. We'll be back here again on Tuesday for the first newscast of the new year. From the entire team at CMC News, thank you for being with us in 2017 and all our wishes for a blessed and prosperous 2018. Good night and God bless.